anyway, so my wife tells me, she says, you know, Morgan could drive his truck. He could actually drive his truck to Street Rod Nationals. And it was like 3 weeks from Street Rod Nationals. And that thing was just total, I mean, it was smashed. So I called him up and I said, on my wife's behalf, urging, she says, well, tell him you'll help him. I'm like, okay. This is like 3 weeks, you know. So I called him and he said, you know, you could hear never heard any doubt in his voice except for that one time. He said, I can't do it. It won't happen. There's no way. And I said, well, you know, you have my phone number. Call me if you want to do this. And the next morning he calls me and he says, I got Johnny. Johnny and I got the front end off of it. Johnny and I are taking the motor. Johnny and I are doing this. And I'm going like, oh, so you're serious then? You know, he's actually serious. He wants to actually go. And so I got over there that night, another, you know, after work till midnight, that thing. And I get there, and boy, he had that thing torn apart all over the place because the front end was smashed, and it was moved over here, and the motor, he had picked it up, and they put it in the floor. And so I asked him, well, what do you want to start with? And he goes, well, we're going to completely take all the bushings and stuff out of everything, all the gaskets, and he says, we're going to put it back together. I said, okay. So we commenced to taking off the intake manifold, taking the transmission apart, all that stuff. And I get apart, he says, I'm going to get all the gaskets and everything tomorrow. And we'll put all new gaskets and all this stuff in it. So I get back the next day, well, him and Johnny had tore some more stuff apart. I'm looking at the thing going like, wow, this is stuff everywhere, you know. So we started putting everything back together, and he comes, we got the motor back in, and he comes carrying out, he wants to put I thought we were just going to put the motor back in and drive it. That was it. Unbeknownst to me, he had other plans. He comes dragging out a gear drive. You guys know what a gear drive, girls are going like, what the heck is a gear drive? You know, he carries out this gear drive, and I had never put a gear drive on anything in my life. And I'm going like, uh-oh. I said, well, you're going to have to walk me through this before you back to being the mentor, you know. So we take it apart, and we're putting this gear drive on. We get that on, I think, okay, well, that's it. No. Somewhere he'd found a blower. I'm going, you know, we just want to get from his house to Street Rod Nationals. That's it. You know, I guess he wanted to get there in like 3 seconds. So we start dragging this blower. Again, I don't know anything about blowers. So he has another friend who's sitting here. His name's Ron. He's in the back. Stand up, Ron. Anyway, so we start putting this blower on, and we kept running against obstacles because it's a 455 volts, and you don't just find things for 455 volts. You know, you can find them for small box Chevy, big box Chevy, but not an old Oldsmobile. So, come first thing to come, the blower set too close to the manifold, so he had to build a plate, custom plate, which he did himself. You know, he went down and got a flat piece of, I don't know, 3/4, 5/8, 3/4.
Yeah.
Try finding 3/4 of aluminum around this place, or cutting it. So him and Ron, they got to working on it, and they got that piece made. Thank God for Ron, because I still don't know nothing about a blower. So he gets that up, and he gets that on there. And the next one is the pulleys don't line up right. And so we only have like 3 weeks. I mean, he keeps dragging stuff out. So anyway, he bought a piece of round stock, and he bought an aluminum, a lathe. He bought a lathe from I don't know where he got it from, but he got a lathe. And so he's looking at it, he didn't know what to do with it. He had never ran a lathe. Luckily, I'd ran a lathe. So it's like several different things kept piling up on us. And so I took time, and I'm over there turning that. Him and Johnny are putting stuff back together, trying to get it put back together, and shining things, working on things, brakes. I mean, God knows it needed everything. So anyway, got that made, and then the blower specialist comes back over, and he starts working on it, and they actually long-term, short-term, anyway, you got it put back together. And I didn't get to be there when they fired it up, when they first started it, which would have been fun. But I missed that part. And it was like a day before Street Rod National, you guys got it running around?
Yes, sir.
Like the day of or day after. Anyway, so we all go out to Street Rod National and I ask him, you want me to come call you? No, I got this. So anyway, we're there, we're waiting for him to show up. Well, I get a phone call. Hey, I'm broke down. Oh no, you didn't make it. He says, no, I'm inside the gate. Oh. I have never seen a guy so happy to break down. And he goes, I said, well, where are you at? Well, he made it in the gate and made a right turn, threw off a hose off the motor. It just went pow. And you know, when you guys ever heard something like that blow up? I mean, it makes a noise, water's going everywhere, and I mean, it's a mess. And he's basically right smack in the middle of everything. And this guy comes up to him and says, oh man, it's horrible, you know, dang, I'm sorry. He jumps out in typical Borgie fashion and goes, yee-haw, I'm inside the gate. I mean, he was so excited to actually have something that he'd done make it, you know, and be able to go. I mean, I'm sorry.
He made it.
Yeah, he made it.
Like,
Yeah, he
as
made
far
it.
as he was concerned, he made it.
Yeah, he didn't care. Push it, pull it, whatever you had to do, he didn't care. But Ron and I, we worked on it. I think Ron worked on it more than I did. He accused me of not tightening the hose lamps. You didn't tighten that hose lamp. And I'm like, well, I wasn't there the last day. But okay. You know, you made it. You're excited. I'm happy for you. So he had a great time there, and that's one of the highlights.
I remember running water bottles, filling that thing up, because we had to fill it up a couple times.
Yeah, just to make it about,
just to make it around, because you know all the water went everywhere.
Yeah.
So we have the little, you know, that water bottle basically, and I'm running from the fountain back and forth.
Yeah. You know, and it really was. I don't know. I can't speak for Ron, but it was my pleasure to help him. Anyway, he took his truck, and he was so excited that it made it. He did some more repairs to it. He decided he was going to drive it down to some kind of F-100 car show down in the middle of L.A. somewhere. He gets halfway there, and you know what happened? Yeah, the radiator again. Something happened to the fan or something. But I think maybe Ron might have went down and pulled him the rest of the way to the F-100 show. And when he got there, you know, all of his friends, he had friends down there all over the place, you know, because he'd been involved in F-100s until he crashed his car. And after that, he just got disappointed. But again, the happy part of Borgie is he won an award. My goodness, was he happy. I mean, they picked his car out of all those trucks, and he won something. And he brought it. He brought the award back. He was so proud.
Was that the best ever construction?
Yeah.
I remember him telling, you know, everybody that would listen that he, when he drove up, people would walk past the truck into another truck that's, you know, got 100 times more money in it. And then when he opened his hood and standed up on that bumper, people came back. And it's like, oh, you know, open that clam, see that shining piece right in there. That's,
Yeah,
I love that hood.
He loved that thing. I mean, he did. He enjoyed. I think he enjoyed spending time with the people and talking to people and you know, communicating with them, letting them know. Anyway, my ending words. I'm sure you'll be glad to hear it go. But I'm going to part with this thought and this word, which is love. I'm going to sit down for a minute.